Hey everybody. Well, I didn't get a lot of work done in this past week. Well, I did, but not a whole lot worthy for a video, so I just figured I'd do a short one here. Um, let's see, what did we get done? I think on the last video I had just this rear section done right here of the fairing, just to show of the wing fairing, just to show you how I did it. So I continued that along, and as you can see, it really turned out nice. It's not finished yet. Probably kind of hard to see on this side, but yeah, it turned out really well. Right now the wing is bolted on, so you can see there's just no gap right there. The bottom has a little bit of a gap that I'm going to take some scrap sheeting, just wedge it into the gap and just fill it in and sand it smooth. I have done nothing here. Okay, this is just straight. This is how it's built, how it's mated to the center section, and that turns out really nice. Let's see what to cover here. So you can see in a couple spots there's a former right here, and right here. So in between these formers here, I just very, very loosely cut up some balsa just to kind of fill in that area, and then use this just regular lightweight spackle to fill it in and sand it. So this part right here is all sanded smooth. I just did this one this morning, so it still needs to be sanded. But when I got to this point here, where there was no more formers, I just cut some triangle stock in sections about this big and just kind of lined them around to this point here. Then filled that in, let that dry and sand it. And then this portion here, I literally just packed in that lightweight spackle and wetted my fingers down with some Windex and just smoothed it out. So once this is set up, I'll sand it up a little bit. Then I'm going to go over this entire area with some thin CA, because this spackle's really soft. Really soft. So I'll harden it up with some CA, and then I'm going to go over it with the Elmer's wood filler to give it a nice hard surface on the top that the covering will stick to. Other things that I've done is I had to redo the wingtips a little bit to get them to match better, and I've done these wingtips now twice. They started off with the original block, but I kept shortening it and re-trimming it just to get to the shape I like, and now I think I have it right where I want it. So that's all done. I did put some pieces on the inside to tighten up the gaps a little bit, just so they're nice and uniform and they look good. So we're getting there. Alright, just flipped it over. You'd be amazed how difficult it is to flip this thing over in this rather tight quarters. So right now the wing is bolted on. This one here I'm pretty happy with. A couple little gaps there, but they're not going to be a real huge deal, especially when it's covered. This side here has a little bit bigger gap, and when I tightened it, it kind of separated the sheeting right there. So this side I'm going to fill in a little bit, and just give it a little final sand just to blend it, and that'll be ready for covering. So you can see here kind of a little bit better where I've blended in that spackle with the previous wood filler here. So this whole thing is going to get another really, really thinned out coat of this Elmer's wood filler, and this will be done. And I have to do just a little bit of sanding just to blend that leading edge a little bit better. But other than that, I mean, I did all this work on the bench, and I just put the wings on for the first time, and this is how they're lining up. I mean, that's pretty damn good. That is pretty good. Just ordered my materials for the landing gear. This is 1/4 inch music wire landing gear. I've never bent 1/4 inch gear, and I've had people tell me to heat it, bend it, then retreat it to harden it back up, and I've had people say, no, absolutely not, bend it cold and just take your time. So what I did is I ordered the gear wire, and I ordered a wire bender from Eastwood. So we'll give that a try. Fingers crossed. All that's really left to do on the wings, besides a good final sanding, is right in this area right here, or here. I haven't decided yet. I need to put in my rails for my aileron servo. Need to install a servo horn into the control surface. If you watch the video on my quarter scale cub build, that's how I'm going to do the servo installation for here. So, but when I do get that done, I'll show you how I did it. And yeah, even though, you know, the method that I used here for opening up these little holes to get in there to put the bolts in may not look the greatest, but it works really well. Oh, excuse me. I have to put a little bit of a piece here. It's going to be tapered to a point, so the point will be here, and it's going to taper out to match this the trailing edge for the fairing. So I got to glue that on. I knew I still had to do that, but I wanted to make sure everything else was done first. So you can see those wingtips turned out really nice. I still have some minor filling to do on the wings. They just need a good sand, just a little bit of filler, and that'll be good to go. So you can see those wingtips turned out really nice. The only reason I kept redoing it is I didn't want I had them sort of, they came out too far and then looped back around. You know what I'm saying? So I just kind of kept shortening it on the leading edge and then just made a shallower taper. So this is actually the shape I want, and that looks really good. So that's where we're at. Throughout the week, I'm probably gonna get the center section completely finished. Then once it's finished, then I can go ahead and start doing my final filling and final sanding on the fuselage. In 2 weeks, I'm gonna order the covering. I know I have plenty of covering where I can get started. So I may actually cover the control surfaces and maybe the center section area. Who knows? I just don't want to get too ahead of myself and, you know, start covering and realize that I forgot to do something. So that's where we're at. So probably after the holidays pass, I will come back with another video and we'll see what else I got done. Later.